Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, this is Dr. Ijaz Ahmad Tatla, and I am with you in class PhD Education, and course is Quality Management in Education. Today we have to discuss three major things about benchmarking process. The first one, the 10 steps benchmarking process according to Juran model. This all will we be discussing in the first session. In second session, I would like to discuss in detail the benefits of benchmarking. And in the third session, we have to learn about the problems with benchmarking. I believe that you all are fine enough, and because after Ramadan and Eid we are rejoining the class, I welcome you back from the Ramadan holidays and Eid holidays. Hopefully, the ongoing week can be marked as mid-semester, and in a couple of days, we are expecting that there will be any decision regarding conduction of mid-semester exams, rather to be conducted or go till the final exam. Whatever the decision will be conveyed to you accordingly. But anyway, we should ready for that whenever the exam you have to go through different sort of tests. In this chapter, we will overview general benchmarking process wherein the 10 steps are involved regarding benchmarking towards total quality management in education and total quality management in general. Moreover, in the same session, we have to learn about the 10 steps benchmarking model by Joseph Moses Juran, that is also known as Juran model. Let's have an eye view on the 10 steps benchmarking process. Number one, identify opportunities and priorities, what to benchmark. Second, deciding the benchmarking organization, that means whom to benchmark. Step 3, studying the superior process for finding reasons and devising improved processes. 5, goal setting for improved processes. 6, communicate findings and gain acceptance. 7, establish new functional goals. 8, develop action plan for implementation. 9, implement specific actions and monitor progress. 10. Keep the process continue. These all 1 to 10 are one after the other steps that has taken into consideration in the process of benchmarking. Let us see in detail all these steps one by one. In step 1, that is about to identify the opportunities and accordingly prioritize them. In this step, this initial step involves defining as accurately as possible the process to be benchmarked with zero error and without any tolerance of regarding ambiguity. This has to be done by the managers when they are identifying and defining the possibilities. It is the cornerstone of the entire benchmarking process. An incorrect identification at this stage could result in a waste of precious resources at later steps that might be result in poor quality product, wastage of time, wastage of resources, finances, and delayed results towards the product that not be required by the market, that don't have any value or requirement in the market. At the end, we will have a sharply focused, clearly defined procedure that tells management what needs to be changed, how much change can be achieved within given limitations, and how to measure accurately our processes against those of other and against our own future projections. So that was all about the identification of the opportunities and to prioritize the things. As you know, step 2 is about deciding the benchmarking organization. Here from organization, it means that what would be the roadmap, what thing will come first and what will be at the last stage. Therefore, this step determines which organizations should be studied by identifying the best organizations whose practices can be adapted to our requirements. No doubt, according to my opinion, the borrowed practices from sister organizations can be adopted as it. But you know, any of the organization always of the view to have to produce some unique thing different from others. Therefore, they go for adaptation. Moreover, as it adoption might be a hindrance for the sister organizations because they have their license, their uh, permissions and certificates and rights. Therefore, rights cannot be misused without any sharing and proper permission in writing legally. Furthermore, an incorrect choice could lead to electing partners that are not true benchmarks for the selected process, that are non cooperative, or whose practices are incompatible or irrelevant to our needs. At the conclusion of step 2, we have to compile a large list from which to choose organizations to contact as potential partners based on the supervisor quality of their superior quality of their processes. So as earlier I discussed that there are some differences on the basis of needs, requirements, compatibility. So the practices borrowed from peer organizations are required to be analyzed and finally be concluded how have to contact with the potential partners on the basis of their superior quality. Step 3, studying the superior processes. You know, in the market there are couple of the organizations producing the similar products, providing the customers. So to become the best seller, and in our organization have to study the market, have to go through the processes opted by the peers. So out of the existing and prevailing practices, they have to go for superior processes, because the motive is to opt any super superior process. So therefore, the first benchmark in this stage is to study the superior processes and have to learn the lessons and taking the guidelines to uh, coin your own, on the basis of which you will be going, or the new organization will be going to offer their own compatible and comparably uh, uh, much compatible to the market and advanced as compared to the peers. Therefore, the third step involves creating a plan for collecting data from selected targets, conducting site visits, and creating a site visit report. Upon finishing step 3, our organization will have complete, accurate, and relevant data with which to compare its own process with the best of the best. According to my opinion, all these steps, the first one we studied, the second, and now the third we are discussing. When you are going to establish your organization and going to produce some sort of quality product to the market, so to maintain the quality management, no doubt, mm, the investors have to do all these things. So much so, when you have to establish a school, college, or any of the institution, it's very necessary for the investors to study the plan, to visit the place, to look into the surroundings and have some deeper information about the clients, their access, and the peer organizations working in their in that vicinity. What are their processes, and which one is the superior one? So they have to adapt their process being the best of the best. Step 4, finding reasons and devising improved processes. This step involves analyzing the data collected, discovering what degree present performance lags behind the best in each area, and combining the best features from the best practices into ideal process. At the completion, relevant features from each of the best practices will combine into an ideal practice that can be implemented within budgetary and other constraints of our organization. So accordingly, this process and example of the institutions, education institutions, stands fit for this as well. You know, there is no other way to know about the peer organization and the sister organizations without observing them, without collecting data and analyzing it and highlighting the peak points towards the best beneficiary for you. So any of the novel organization have to go through all these things, and the ideal practice they have to implement, keeping in mind their budget constraints and the situation accordingly. In step 5, you know, there is goal setting for improved process. Therefore, here in this step, we will examine our organization's past performance in relation to competitors to forecast the potential charge in our industry and project future performance, both with and without the proposed benchmarking changes. At the conclusion of this step, we will have identified the quantitative benefits of implementing the proposed benchmarking changes. Why here it is stated that we will have identified the quantitative benefits? That means the difference to compare, to differentiate, to set the targets, there should be some numbers, figures, graphs, values, points that can identify that these, on the basis of these differences, these significant differences, these practices and the improved processes are bestseller in the market. Step 6, communicate findings and gain acceptance. This step involves communicating the benchmarking results and their implications to significant audiences in the organization and motivating them to carry out the changes. No doubt, whatever the findings of on the basis of collected data have been made, it's very necessary to share and communicate with the peers, with the colleagues, with the workers of the organization, and make it possible for them to understand and with accept it with zeal and zest, because on ground and frontliner workers have to incorporate all those uh, findings and stipulated steps. If they are unaware, if they are ambiguous about them, if they are not clear about them, and if they have not accepted them by heart, they will not put their best potential into practice to achieve the set goals. Resultantly, the product will be of less quality, and total quality management dream will not become accomplished. So this is very necessary for the organizers to have certain type of discussions, share all these findings with the people, and remove their apprehensions if any. This step will ensure that the advantages of change have been explained to the parties and stakeholders involved in order to motivate them to carry it out. The level up to which the parties and stakeholders are not satisfied, they will not be motivated. Therefore, it's very crucial to satisfy them, to reply their apprehensions, and their confidence level should be uh, triggered up towards the motivation for achievement of the goals. Establish new functional goals. This step involves revising goals to close the performance gap determined in step 5 and achieving consensus on the goals, those goals. So if at the stage of establishment of new functional goals, it's very necessary to परफॉर्मेंस गैप डिटर्मिन करने के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि उसको इन्वॉल्व किया जाए। तो वहाँ पे जो चीज़ें लेसन थी, जो लूप होल्स थे या जो गैप था, उस गैप को ब्रिज करने के लिए और परफॉर्मेंस को डिटर्मिन करने के लिए और लोगों का कंसेंसस जो है वो अचीव करने के लिए ये नेसेसरी है। Therefore, step 7 establishes clear-cut goals that our management has approved and that all employees understand. At this stage, according to my opinion, 2080 rule must be taken into consideration, and according to that rule, it's very necessary to reach up to the certain percentage of the consensus. Otherwise, 20% unwanted and unwilling people might affect on the performance of 80% well-wishers and good workers. In step 8, it is to develop an action plan for implementation. Here in this step, establishes the step-by-step plan designed to bring out the goal created and approved in step 7. Therefore, upon completion of step 8, management has approved the specifics of plan. Appropriate individuals have been empowered to carry it out, and every individual knows what changes in his or her work procedure are expected. So the acceptance of change no doubt is much difficult, and people annoyed to accept the change, but for any of the improvement, it is very necessary to go for that. Therefore, for this purpose, action plan for implementation is developed to make clear the workers how they have to act to accomplish the assigned task. Step 9, implement specific actions and monitor progress. In this step, we execute the approved best practice procedures and the day-to-day monitoring of changes. Step 9 develops procedures to enable close monitoring of the changes and tracking of results so that over time, successful elements of new practices can be retained and the less successful ones eliminated. So, while implementing the specific actions, it's very crucial to monitor at the time of the implementation of the actions how the progress is going on. Whenever and wherever it is needed, the less successful practices should be eliminated, and the practices which are successful, which are fruitful to, towards the accomplishment of the task and best quality production are needed to be incorporated strongly. Last but not the least, in this process of 10 steps, keep the process continuous. We must continuously evaluate the benchmarked practices and reinstitute the benchmarking process when necessary. After step 10 and the conclusion of this benchmarking approach, the organization will understand when and how it needs to be uh, recalibrate benchmarks and will never put itself at risk by becoming complacent. Therefore, the continuous carrying on the continuous continuity of this process is necessary because the total quality management process is not one for all. It is all the time, all the way, repeatedness and continuity, because improvement, quality, and betterment need all the time zero tolerance, best practices to be incorporated, and useless practices to be eliminated. Here in this diagram, we can see how creative adaptation can be done. We can see in the left uh, top corner, what is our performance level? How do we do it? With this understanding, we go for what others' performance levels and how did they get there. So by comparison of these both point of view, we have some amalgamation of different practices in our ongoing practices. Through incorporation of that, we get created adaptation, and that results in breakthrough performance. According to Joran benchmarking cycle, it is continuous process. Learn, lead, benchmark, learn, lead, benchmark, learn, lead, benchmark. So on the basis of benchmarks, they learn and they go for leading. So here in this cyclic process, the first component that comes is plan benchmarking, then go for data collection, and this collected data is validated. After validation of the data, it is normalized. It should be normally distributed. It should make a bell shape, not skewed. Then it is analyzed, and on the basis of findings, some results and conclusions are made. On the basis of these findings, the people learn. They understand the performance gaps in their organization. So to fill those performance gaps, they develop action plan, and on the basis of the final results, if there is some deficiency, they go for another benchmarking plan. So this is ongoing process on the basis of which all the time every new product is much sophisticated and of the best quality as compared to the previous one. Here we can consider an example of the Honda Atlas and Toyota Corolla car makers. You know, we all are conscious about when we go for purchase any of the car of these both makers. So on the basis of different features, we reject one and go for the other. And companies are there to note what the customer identifies, the deficiency and the features of the one, and why prefer, and what are the features on the basis of which the customer prefer the other one. Therefore, according to Joseph Moses Joran, who born in 24th December 1904 and was and took his last breath on 20th February 2008. He was a Romanian and born in America. He was engineer and management consultant. He was an evangelist for quality and quality management and has written several books on those subjects. According to him, famous quality trilogy was first developed and written by Joseph M. Juran. Juran is a management consultant and engineer specialized in quality management. According to him, quality management is all about quality planning, improvement, control, planning, improvement, control. So by this process, quality is managed. In this trilogy, it is very clear to understand how quality is managed. Good plan, best implementation and improvement, and then its control yields the better quality management. As far as quality planning is concerned, all management activities and processes are included in quality planning. Quality journey begins with the planning, the activities that needs to be done to adhere to the VN mission and goal of the organization, and to comply with the customer and compliance requirements. That is, quality planning comprises of the components of quality planning are as number one, understanding the customer, determining their need, defining the product service features, its specifications for designing the product service. 5, devising the process that will enable to meet the customer needs. These all are the salient features of quality planning. And when we say the quality control, it's the process defined. The responsibility is now with the operations to adhere to the process and specifications required by product service. For this purpose, periodic checks and inspection has to be done. Metrics need to be tracked to ensure that the process is in control and meets specifications, and the metrics needs the set target. Whatever there is a defect, a corrective and preventive measure action is needed to be done. The root cause has to be arrived at. Also, the deviation in the metrics and processes, audit results need to be mentioned and corrected for meeting the required target as specified by the processes. As far as quality improvement is concerned, it is the robust process design and the product features are. There are chances that if it may fail to meet customer requirements and design targets, it might be due to some special causes that are present in the system, and might be due to changes in the business scenarios, customer requirements, market completion, and many more forces.